Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton, episode 116. We're live ahead of PFL 1 for an all PFL lineup. First up, we're going to be joined by Thiago Santos to preview his co-main event fight against Rob Wilkinson. Rob, the former UFC fighter, obviously the reigning PFL light heavyweight champion. Thiago Santos' PFL debut, and it's a fight he's really looking forward to. He knows that Rob is the reigning champ, and that's a fight he wanted to really just prove how good he is and how he thinks his kind of tournament to lose this year. And then our next two guests are the main events, and Marlon Moraes and Brendan Loughnane. Talked to both of them to preview their fight. Obviously, talked to Marlon about why he was interested in going to PFL. He had that last fight against Moraes, which obviously he was winning up until he got knocked out late in that third round, which he was pretty disappointed with. It was his fifth loss in a row. And a lot of people said he should retire, but Marlon thinks he's kind of figured out why he was getting knocked out. He has a lot of confidence heading in this one against Brendan Loughnane, which he knows will be the toughest test. He thinks if he beats Brendan, it sets him up to really become the favorite to win this tournament. But Brendan knows Marlon, even though he's been knocked out on 5-fight lose streak, he knows he's still a tough out. He pointed at Shane Moraes fight that he was winning until he kind of got caught, and he thinks Marlon will come up with a better game plan. But really good chat with both these guys, but be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for a UFC 287 Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined by PFL light heavyweight now, Thiago Santos. Thiago, how's it going?
Everything good. Everything going well.
That's kind of the first thing I want to touch on. Like, you caught a lot of people by surprise asking for your UFC release to sign with PFL. Like, why did you want to leave the UFC and ultimately sign for PFL?
You know, this point of my career, so I don't have years and years to do something different. So I decided to do this point, this moment. So I would like to do new things, new goals, new projects, and yeah, PFL gave me this opportunity, so that's why I'm here.
How did this all come together? Like, did PFL reach out that they were interested while you're in the UFC, or did you just kind of get your release to see what options were out there?
Sorry?
Like, how did you know PFL was interested? Because it all kind of came out as once that you got your release and obviously signed with the PFL right away.
So it's my manager work, you
Mhm.
know. I just give you options to him that I would like to try new things. I would like to have fresh air, new goals, new challenge, and he work on that. And then he did contact and spoke with PFL and just told me, and I say yes.
And then fighting Rob Wilkinson, like, is this someone you wanted to get right off the bat? Like, obviously, is the reigning champ. Like, did you want him, or were you hoping to get someone else?
No, I was open to get anyone, but it couldn't be better. I'm very happy to just begin against the last light heavyweight champion. So I'm very excited for that. Just you know, big fight. He's a tough opponent, so it's making me very excited and work very hard for that.
How familiar are you with Rob? Like, obviously, he was a middleweight in the UFC, only had two fights, and kind of since he got cut, he's been on an incredible run.
Yeah, he did a good job, you know. After he left UFC, you know, he improved so much. He came back and overcome and became a light heavyweight champion. So it's a nice story.
Uh, where is training? You out in Brazil, or you in Florida?
Florida and American top team.
That's what I thought. Like, with like you obviously fought Omari Akhmedov. It was trains there before. Like, how familiar is the coaches then with Rob? Because a lot of light heavyweights have been matched up against him.
Yeah, some of my coaches prepare Omari for fight against him, so they know Robert very well, Robbie very well. So it's good. It's good. I'm ready for them, prepared very well anyway. So me and Omari, we have different style, but Robb's the same.
With this one, like, how do you think you match up against Rob?
Sorry?
How do you think you match up against Rob?
He's a strike, he's aggressive, you know. See, he moved forward, and I like this kind of fight. And yeah, it's gonna be firework, and I'm waiting for that, very excited. And I go that win. I go that win, and I will do my best. I'm waiting for that.
A lot of people that are strikers, when they fight you, tend to wrestle. Do you expect Rob to shoot in at you on you at some point?
I'm prepared for that because it's a lot of times he uses his wrestling too. You know, he like to strike, he like to use his boxer,
Hmm.
but a lot of times he use his wrestling too. So I'm prepared for everything.
How do you see yourself winning this one then?
I think he gonna strike with me,
Hmm.
but I believe in some points he gonna try to take me down.
Do you think you'll be able to finish Rob? Like, he's a pretty durable guy, or do you think it likely hits the scorecards?
What's the question?
Do you like think you'll be able to finish Rob? Like, he is a pretty durable guy and hard to get out of there.
If I believe I can finish him,
Yeah.
100%, no question about that. I can finish anyone.
Mm.
I can finish anyone. You know, I have weapons to finish anybody. So it's absolutely possible. And so what I'm gonna do?
You finish Rob like he is the reigning champ. Like, what kind of message do you think that sends to the light heavyweight division that you took out the champ and finished him in the meantime of doing it?
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Just my debut in PFL against the last halfway champion, and a great win. It's gonna be amazing. I can see that moment in my mind.
And then you say you go out and win the whole season, $1 million payout at the end. Like, what do you think that does? Like, what does that do for you in $1 million?
Man, it's been good for my family. You know, I have my family, everyone around me. So it's good things. And become champion, have my belt, become light heavyweight PFL champion. So get $1 million, help others, help my family. So that's it.
You are 39 now. Like, have you thought how much longer you got left in this?
No, it's hard to prediction. You know, you never know how it's gonna be tomorrow. But in my mind, I have more 3 years.
And then you look back on your career, like you've kind of fought everyone. Is there like a moment for you that stands out? Because your fight against Jimmy Manoa in Toronto, I saw live, and that it's still like one of the craziest fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, it was amazing fight. I remember that. It was amazing. I was very nervous for that fight, but I did very well.
And then obviously you have your daughter now. Like, how has that changed? Like, just your life in general, now having a kid.
Changed for much better, you know. I'm enjoying every moment, every second with her. She is amazing. Make my heart like ice cream. But I'm very happy, man. Like enjoying every moment. Time passed so fast. So I'm so grateful that I'm blessed that I have time to stay with her. You know, I can go to my train, come back home, spend some time with her, come back to training. So I'm so blessed that I can enjoy every moment with her.
And then what's it like for you to see, obviously, Yana get her return fight against Holly Holm?
Sorry?
And then Yana obviously has her return fight against Holly Holm. Like, how exciting is that for you guys?
Oh yeah, we are very excited. She's so hungry, and yeah, it's gonna be amazing. She's gonna fight. The next week I'm gonna fight. And then after that we can enjoy, we can relax a little bit, we work hard now, our family work hard together, and then after that we can enjoy.
Do you guys like fighting so close together?
It's gonna be the first time, first time. Usually we always plan to fight far from each other because when one prepare, other can help. But this time it's happened. We are not in the same promotion, so it's happened, and we are doing in the best way as possible. So and everything going well.
I guess the bank accounts will be nice though, fighting twice so close together.
Yeah, that's it. It's gonna be good too.
Just two more things. Like the last guy you fought was Jamal Hill. Were you surprised to see him put on that performance against Glover and become the champion?
No, I didn't surprise. If someone surprised me, it was Glover. How tough he is, you know. But yeah, Jamal deserve, you know. He's young. He's doing good job. He's doing very well. And I think he's gonna grow more and more.
And then with like that belt, like, do you think it's like, do you still think like, do you still view Yuri as like the champion, or do you think Jamal is that rightful champion?
Uh, uh, his next fight is gonna be Prohaska, yeah.
That's what the hope is, but you never really know with his shoulder and how kind of bad it seemed.
Yeah. No, I think he's gonna keep this belt uh, a little bit more.
And just the last thing I wanted to ask you about was a former opponent, John Jones, came back and won the heavyweight title in pretty dominant fashion. Did that one surprise you of how quickly he was able to get gone out of there?
It didn't surprise me he won the fight, but yeah, it surprised me how quickly he did that.
Is that a fight like you were disappointed you never got back just because of how close it was? Like it was a split decision. Some people thought you won.
Uh, what your question about this fight?
Yeah, like is there ever like disappointment you didn't get a chance to fight John again after your first fight and how close it was?
No, no, that's it is what it is, you know. Was a great fight, great memories, you know, and yeah, unfortunately it didn't happen, but God's plan. That's okay.
Well, Tiago, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by PFL featherweight Marlon Moraes, who's fighting at PFL 1. Marlon, how's it going, man?
I'm good.
Uh, Obviously, you announced your retirement, came back last year, or came back to sign with PFL. Like, I kind of want to start there. Like, can you kind of walk me through how that kind of whole decision came about from retiring to then deciding to unretire and go to the PFL?
I still felt that I could compete, and why not try a new beginning and fight for a good promotion like PFL, new goals, and that's how I feel right now. I just restart my career with the PFL. I had a fight with them, didn't go my way, but I felt great, I felt very good energy, energized, strong, faster. I just got caught. So, and moving forward, and I have another one coming up, and I have to fix the mistakes and come back stronger, and ready. I have a tough opponent. I have a good opponent. He had a great run last season, and I'm ready. I'm ready to face him.
Being at featherweight, like, did that play a role into like, signing with PFL is now having to obviously cut as much weight, going down to 35?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And the cuts was hard, hard to make it 35 and being able to compete at 45. And it's better for me. It's healthier.
And then with this one, like getting the champion and Brendan Loughnane, like, is that something you wanted right away? Is to fight the guy that just won, or is this just what the fight PFL wanted to do?
I want to compete, and that's the fight that was offered to us. And let's go, man. Let's face it, And I know this season There's no easy fights, and let's get it on and let's face the toughest one first.
Your last fight, you said like you found some mistakes that you're trying to fix. Like you looked really good in those first 2 rounds against Shaman. Like, how much is that? Like, how much confidence do you get kind of building off that fight where that's the best you've looked in a while, I think, in that last fight?
Yeah, man, I feel strong, especially I am a striker, and originally I start striking, so I was happy to see what I could do in the grappling, and I felt strong, and I just made a mistake and I paid for, I got caught, and unfortunately, I thought it was an early stoppage, especially the way I was doing on the ground, and it is what it is. Fights later on, I watched one fight, Omari, and he probably was knocked down 6 times, and the ref never stopped it. So I don't want to take anything away from my opponent, but I deserve a little more. But I'm here, man. I'm hungry, and always when you lose a fight, you wish you could go back in there and fix it. And that's what I'm gonna do. April 1st, I'm gonna get back in there, and I'm gonna fix what I did wrong.
And then with this is like the beginning of the season, like you have to fight pretty active. Like, does that change the way you fight? Like, not take as many risks, or like not, because obviously you don't want to get injured in your fights because then you can't fight the next one. Like, does that change the way you fight, or you just kind of just take it one fight at a time?
It's just impossible, man. You have to take one at a time, especially in a fist fight. That's how you're gonna calculate, as hard as you hit the guy, you go for the kill always.
Training for this one, are you out in Florida for it?
Yes, I'm in Florida.
Same kind of cast and crew you're using, or did you switch it up for this one?
Yeah, we having the same crew, I've been working with Pahompa
Mhm.
since my last camp, and my grappling evolved a lot, I improve a lot of my grappling, and I just think my jiu-jitsu is different now. I feel much more confident, and my striking as well, and I'm very excited for this one.
What did you make of Brendan's year last year, winning it all? Because his first 2 fights are pretty close, and he kind of looked very good against Chris Wade and Bubba in the playoffs.
No, I think he had a great season. He improved as the season went on, and he performed when he had to against the best fighters, and he had a great fight against Baba. He had a great fight against, I think, Chris Wade.
Mhm.
So he looked good, and I know he's a guy that trained hard, and he's never happy what he had done. And I'm gonna face the best Brendan. I know I will.
Being the main event too, does that excite you that you can headline this, or is it just, do you not pay much attention if you're the main event or whatnot?
No, it's always good, It's always good to be the main event of the evening, be headlining a card, especially for PFL. PFL is growing so much, and this last few seasons, and I can't wait to see PFL as high as they can, and I'm here to fight to give everything I have to make them succeed.
You obviously fought in World Series of Fighting, which has transitioned into PFL. Like, is there many similarities from when you kind of were dealing with WSOF to now in PFL, or do you kind of view it as a completely new promotion?
Oh, good people, good people. Sam always stays, and they still have good people there. Ray Sefo is a great president. It's a great guy to lead a promotion, and I'm very happy to compete for them.
With this one against Brendan, like, how do you think you match up against him?
Man, I am excited for this matchup. I think I have an intriguing match, intriguing style for him, and I'm excited to go out there and show what I can do against a guy like him. And I don't want to give away any secrets, but we will we are gonna put on an interesting fight, and that's gonna be the best fight of the night for sure.
Both you guys are primarily strikers, but both you guys obviously have very good wrestling and grappling. Like, so do you think this is just going to be like a full MMA fight and it probably will hit the mat at some point?
I don't know. We might stay only striking, or maybe we are gonna end up going to the ground. But we're both durable guys to get down, and we will see. We will see who will touch each other first and who is gonna be able to implement the game plan.
With Brendan, like he's never been finished. So like, how do you kind of see it playing out? Just because he's a pretty durable guy.
Yes, durable guy, but nobody's unbeatable, nobody's unfinishable. We know that, and let's go out there and try to be the first one.
Obviously, like he is the reigning champ, but it is just another regular season fight. But what do you think that does? Like, what kind of statement do you think that makes if you go out there and say you finish him and kind of sense the rest of the division?
One of the best in the world, you know. I believe Brandon's one of the best fighters in the world. When you beat Brandon, you are one of the best in the world. He's a very good fighter, hard guy to beat, and to be at his level means you are one of the best in the world.
And then with it, like, do you really care who you might fight, or do you look at like other featherweights of who you might fight next, or is it just kind of whoever PFL gives you and kind of the matchups that they all shakes out?
I'm fighting the best one first, so after that, I really don't care.
And then fighting for the $1 million, like say you do win it, like what's that kind of do for you? And that's obviously a ton of money, win $1 million.
It's a lot of money, but my goal is win. My goal is get to the belt, and that's why I'm here.
What do you think that does for your legacy? Like you're obviously a long reigning bantamweight champion, World Series of Fighting, fought for the UFC title, and like to come back all these years later and then win the PFL title up a weight class. Like, what do you think that does for your legacy?
It does a lot, you know. It's do what everyone thinks you cannot do, you know, and that's what I'm chasing.
You're obviously lost a couple. Like, do you think like people are overlooking you because of the losing streak, and people are already writing you off going into this season?
Definitely. But if I need people to think what I can do, what I cannot, I wasn't here now. You know, it was always hard, and the one that needs to be in the gym, need to believe in yourself. It's myself. You know, it doesn't matter if everyone thinks, but nobody gonna do nothing for me. I'm the only one that can do.
And just last thing, like it seems like Sterling is going to defend his belt against Cejudo. Those are two guys you fought. Like, how do you kind of see that playing out? And are you surprised to see Cejudo get a title shot right away?
Yeah, man, I'm surprised that he got the title shot, but he's a guy that knows how to talk, you know, and we'll see. I believe Sterling, it's one of the best fighters pound for pound in the world. In my opinion, he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but I think he beats Cerudo.
Well, Marlon, I appreciate the time again. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, we're joined by Brendan Loughnane, the reigning PFL champ, who's defending his title this upcoming season. Brendan, how's it going, man?
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, obviously last season, like winning the $1 million in the belt, like what was that like for you? Because like your career has been like a long one. Like I don't think people realize you fought in the UFC like a long time ago, and then you've kind of had this long career to finally get like that world title, that recognition. Like what was that? What would that mean for you?
Oh man, it's indescribable. It really is. It was the best feeling in the world. I'm so happy to finally call myself a world champion and have a very, very fat bank account.
After the season, like, did you always knew you're going to be back in the tournament? Like we've seen, like Kayla not you'll go in the tournament, but still be a part of like the pay-per-view series. Like, did you think about that, or were you always going to be part of the season again?
I didn't really get a choice. It was either be in the tournament or don't do anything. So it was like, yeah. I mean, I'm back in, and I'm happy to be here.
Any thought of maybe going to 55 and chasing another title in another division?
I wish I could, bro, but I'm an out and out 45er. I'm not big enough for that division.
And then the day, like obviously headlining the first event of the season against Marlon Moraes, like, is this someone you wanted, or is it just kind of who they gave you?
Yeah, I'll fight anyone. I'll fight anyone that they put in front of me, but it's a good legacy name. It's somebody that I get good name value out of, so I was happy to take this challenge on.
I know you or Melky posted that one thing about you and Marlon have trained together in the past, and now you're fighting. Like, what's that like? 'Cause it seems like it's happening a lot more now than it has in the past, where people have kind of trained, just because people are kind of training all over now.
Yeah, that's what it is. Marlon came out to Thailand for 2 of his camps, I think. So we kind of gelled a bit out there. But, it's part of the game. Bubba was my friend as well. And we thought it is what it is in this. I can kind of put my friendship to one side. It's not really a problem for me.
Do you take anything away from the training, or do you just basically think it's just practice and training and you can't really take much away?
Yeah, exactly. Marlon's great. He's a great fighter. He's very strong. So was Bubba, so was Wade, so was Shaman. They're all the same. For me, I approach them all the same and take them very seriously.
Obviously, Marlon, World Series of Fighting champion, fought for the UFC belt. At bantamweight though, but his last fight obviously was at featherweight. What did you think of his featherweight debut in PFL? Because I actually thought he looks like a pretty good sized featherweight in there.
Yeah, Marlon's big, man. I don't know how he ever made bantamweight, to be honest. He always should have been a featherweight. So I think he's in the right division now, for himself anyway. But he's coming up against a big, strong, experienced, hungry featherweight in Brendan Loughnane. And, I'm coming in at the peak and prime of my career. It's going to be a great fight.
What you make of his fight against Shaman? Because Marlon, I thought he was winning that fight up until kind of he got caught.
He won the whole fight and then just got caught. He said, he's been very unlucky in his last few performances. He's been wiping the floor with guys and then just getting caught. He's had a tough run, but that's just the nature of the beast that we're in, eh?
And even Marab, he's been the closest to kind of beating Marab lately. He had Marab hurt a bunch of times. It obviously just kind of just ran out of gas going for the finish. But with this one, is there any more added pressure on you this season now that you are the champ and people have these higher expectations for you?
No pressure. It's all the same. Winning the belt was the highest bit of pressure that you could ever have. So this is all just, I take it in my stride now. I'm a champion. I'm a true champion and I will defend my belt.
Obviously, PFL doesn't you aren't defending it every fight. It's more just the belts up at the end of the year. So do you kind of view these as all this title defenses and you got to win them all, or is it just still or is it you are trying to become the champion again?
Well, yeah, you have to win 4 fights to be a champion in this organization. That's why I say to people it's the hardest organization to get a belt in. And it's also the hardest to keep it because you have to fight 4 people in 7 months and win all them fights. So, yeah, it is very difficult, but I'm up for the challenge for sure.
How much do you think that experience, now that you've been in the PFL for a bit, will help you this year, where you kind of know how it all works? Because it is difficult fighting 4 times in that kind of short of a time, kind of getting your body ready for all that.
Yeah, of course, it's difficult. It's a really, really difficult scenario, but this is my 3rd season now, so I really know how to combat it now, and I feel like you have to approach it like a marathon, not a sprint.
Was training camp all in Thailand, or was it in the UK, or where kind of was it?
All in Thailand.
How come, I know you and Till have gone out there for a while, now, what kind of was the reason for you guys to all go to Thailand to train?
I've been going to Thailand since 2011, so I feel like it's my second home now. I love that place. I feel so happy there, and the training's so good that, that's where I get the best out of myself. I really, truly believe that.
And fighting in Vegas, are you happy that you can be in Vegas and at a pretty big event like the UFC just obviously went to there, a good sized crowd there?
Yeah, listen, this is what I was made for. Main events, Las Vegas, all this. I'm super excited to be here. I really am.
With the featherweight division, a lot of similar names and the guys you fought last year, does that kind of just make it even harder to defend again, where you've spent time with them and they kind of can know what they did wrong against you, kind of focus on improving that the entire season?
Yeah, yes and no. I'm glad I got Marlon because Marlon's new to the PFL, so I'm glad I got him and I get good name value out of Marlon, and I'll be happy to get Mov lead and get my win back.
With Marlon, obviously he has just kind of been cracked a couple times the last one, but he's still a very high level striker, dangerous striker, good wrestler. With him, do you expect him to wrestle more just because he has kind of been knocked out in those past couple fights?
Who knows? Marlon's a bag of tricks. Marlon's extremely experienced. He's had more fights than me, so who knows what his game plan's going to be? I know what mine is, and I'll be imposing it on Marlon no matter what he wants to do, really.
How do you kind of see it playing out then?
I think it's going to be a high-level technical kickboxing match. I don't think he'll be able to take me down, and if he does, I think I'll be able to get to my feet. And I think I just see my pressure being too much for him.
Do you put any pressure to get these early finishes, especially with the way the PFL does the point system, where we've seen guys that go 2-0 and don't make the playoffs because they're just by decisions or kind of third round stoppage? They don't get enough points to get in.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be going for the finish from start to finish against Marlon. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one.
Does that kind of point system like change the way you have to fight in the PFL, you think, where you kind of have to be more aggressive?
Yeah, 100%. Everything changes with that, and I'm very aware of that this year, and I have adapted my style accordingly.
And then who are kind of the main guys you're working with? Like a lot of guys kind of go in and out of Thailand as well, so it's a good spot to be. Like who are kind of the main guys you're working with?
Peter Yan, Rafael Faziev, they're two of my training partners. Loads of unknown guys, 18-year-old hungry kids. Just a great place to train. I really enjoy being in Thailand.
With the Marlon fight, like, is this something you asked PFL for? Or is it just who they gave you to start off the season?
No, I just found it on a news article on the internet. I'm fighting Marlon. I was like, cool.
And then I know you said you want Movid after. Like, is that something you will tell PFL is you want that fight, or would you rather that fight like be in the championship instead of fighting him now?
I want Mov lead, and I want him over 5 rounds.
Like that fight, obviously, was a close one. Like, what do you take away from that fight?
I was very unhealthy going into that fight, and I'm a different Brendan right now, and I'm ready to prove it again this year.
And the 5 rounds, like, do you think that favors you in that fight as well?
Of course. As I've shown in my last fight, I'm a 5 round. I'm a cardio machine, so I'll be imposing the cardio on Mov lead in the final this year. That's for sure.
Chris Wade's back, and I know you guys had a big like kind of going back and forth in your semifinal fight. He's kind of said he wants you again this year. Like, is that a fight you think will probably happen again? Just because both you guys seem to always make it to those semi-finals every year.
Let's see. Chris Wade can get it again if he wants. Not an issue.
Just last thing, I know one of your close friends in Darren Till kind of asked for his UFC release. Like, were you surprised he did that, or like what kind of went through your head when you found out he was getting released?
That's not my business. That's for Till, that one.
Well, Brendan, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, my brother. Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.